Welcome back.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
Good evening, fans of fantastic films, and welcome once again to the Drive-In Asylum double feature. And look who's back. It's my partner in crime, Sam Panico from BNS About Movies.
Hello, I'm back from Detroit.
And
It was wonderful.
how was Motor City?
It was great. It's people are super nice up there. I was shocked how nice everybody is. Yeah, did a lot of shopping, a lot of drinking, a lot of eating pizza, a lot of ruining my body. I got acid reflexes back. Pretty exciting.
We were commiserating about that right before we went live.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's all happening. Went to Becca's 20th reunion. Met a lot of people. Met somebody. One of her friends goes to Fire Island a lot, and I said, "Have you ever seen Uncle Spooky?" He goes, "I see the posters all the time for that man."
Well, now he has a good reason to go.
Mm-hmm. I said,
I wish I could go.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited to be back, and
And just in time for our 100th episode.
I know. Crazy, isn't it?
This is the 100th time that we've done this. Yeah, it's a big idea to get used to.
Yeah, it's really big. And also 2 American Jollos tonight. How about that? I think you can definitely call both these movies Americanized Jolly.
Well, I was hoping to spark some lively discussion because, that's like a line in the sand when you say something like that. Like, well, pretty much everybody agrees that Eyes of Laura Mars is an American genre, but Schizoid, there are some people that are like, oh, it's a slasher. It's not a giallo. So I was hoping to ruffle some feathers by calling it.
My theory on movies is if you care more about the murders than the people in them, that's when you have to decide: is it a slasher? And also, is there an investigator? Is there a stranger in a strange land? Is a woman freaking out? Which definitely in the first movie we definitely know there is. Is there masked?
In the second one too.
Yeah. So Klaus Kinski being in it gives it like 4 extra points towards the Euro slasher side of the world too. So, but definitely Laura Mars is. I wrote before when I did my review a few years ago. Laura Mars is. It really feels like post Deep Red Argento, like kind of. It's almost like a detective movie, and it's like, that'd be kind of boring. What if she can see through the eyes of a killer? Like, all right, and then they throw that in. But also, this movie has the most important part outside of great music to me of a giallo is high fashion, and this movie is all about fashion. And as we saw, I saw someone say in the comments, "We're gonna have a cat fight over a car wreck." Fuck yeah, we are! I'm so excited about this movie. I said to Bill right before we went on, I'm like bonkers excited because this movie. I'm not being mean. This movie's fucking dumb in the best of ways. Yeah. And that's not pejorative. It's great because
it's like stratospherically dumb.
It's and like so much.
Characters are all the characters are all ciphers. They're all like these one-dimensional people that are inhabiting this world of mirrors, cameras, beautiful billionaire today apartments. It's so
very
good.
Like Russ Meyer-ish, where it's like everybody's this close to freaking the fuck out, and like the smallest thing could send anyone over the edge, and that's what I want. Like I don't want that much drama in my real life. When I have that much drama in my real life, it gives me more of the acid reflux. But in my movie life, I want people going crazy, and this movie delivers that.
This movie proves that the beautiful people are more likely to be in danger of being slashed or otherwise attacked in their normal, average, beautiful people lives, which includes walking down runways, giving topless massages to each other,
publishing books that upset the world. Like what photography? She's like the Robert Mapplethorpe of violent women pictures. People are like, oh, Laura Mars, she puts out these books. Not that it's not as sex as people been this upset about a book, a photo book.
It predated sex.
I know.
Laura Mars, I think you're onto something here.
Yeah. That's what what photo book would come out today? Like, well, I know we have the internet, but if a book of photos came out today, people would be like, all right, yeah, that's cool. You put out a photo book. In this movie, in this universe that this world is from, this photo book, everybody knows about it. And everybody's upset about it.
It's so nice to see you, Pamela Coleman. We've been missing you and wondering where you were. And hello to everyone in chat tonight. Thanks to all you fabulous folks for coming out and hanging with us. Matt, hey there. And looks like Roger's on as Valley Nightmares.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Raj. And Graham McKay watching us on YouTube. So he doesn't see the rest of the chat. Oh. I wish we could merge them somehow.
Yeah.
But then again, like on YouTube, there's less pressure to engage, I guess.
Yeah. This movie went from, it was a really small Jack Harris movie, and suddenly John Peters got involved, and he was like, you know what? Barbra Streisand should be in this movie because he was dating Babs at the time. That didn't happen. But can we imagine that world?
This is the only movie where she has a song in it, Prisoner, and she's not in the film.
Oh.
That only happened because she was going to be in the film, and I guess she was like, okay, go ahead, use it.
And obviously, Bill and I talked about it before, but...
she thought it was too kinky. You can imagine.
And then she decided to do a movie where she was Yentl. But that's, it's a different
That
story.
wasn't kinky.
No. No, it was boring. I have the laser disc of Yentl. One of my friends bought it for me because they had it at Goodwill, and they said, I thought you should have this. And I was like, cool, I'm not buying a laser disc player.
It was not the same year as Tootsie.
I would say Tootsie's way better than Yentl.
Well, they're not the same kind of movies. Like Yentl isn't about comedy that ensues from a woman pretending
or
to
is
be.
it? No,
well, yeah, it's a Barbara
mental
Streisand movie, so it's going to be a little over the top. And I don't know why she didn't want to do Eyes of Laura Mars, because she totally could have been in this movie. Don't you think it would have suited her?
I think she would have been great. She'd been taking pictures. And she said, I don't know why everyone's freaking. I can hear her voice in my head, just like saying this stuff. She would have been great. Also, John Carpenter wrote it. And you said, Bill, wondering what it was like. I got a John Carpenter quote about the movie. He said the original script was very good, but it got shat on.
Yeah. You got to appreciate anyone that can use shat like that.
Oh. And the best thing about this movie is that scene with the car wrecks and the fire and the cat fight. That took 4 days to shoot in the middle of New York City. A lot of the movies we've shown didn't get 4 days to shoot. This is a big budget. This is probably the biggest budget. This is a huge budget movie we're showing tonight for the 100th anniversary. This is as big as it gets. Here's the hyperbole.
And yet there were this movie was critically panned.
Oh yeah,
when it came out, and it was generally considered a disappointment. At least by everybody that I saw, the critics and everybody on TV said that it was stupid, and Roger Ebert gave it 1.5 stars. So, you know it's bad when Roger says it's bad, right?
It's I think they were probably like, well, Irvin Kershner is a great director, and why would he do this movie? But
yeah, it got him the gig doing Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's the other thing that's weird is this movie, you would hope that it would be really neon and like kooky, but it's very black and white and red. Like the colors are kind of muted in a lot of the scenes outside of the fire scene. But it's the other thing I wrote that I noticed that a lot of American giallo ends up being really detached and cold and not really interested in like murder as an art form versus like the Italians where it's like, Tenebrae is a whole movie of Argento being like, what if we whip this camera over this building back and forth, even though it doesn't make any sense? And a woman just runs around a room spraying blood. Like, it's delivering. The kills are super important versus, this one's like kills happen, but it isn't like somebody doesn't get shot through the head and it comes out the other side and you follow through it like opera.
That's one thing that this movie is missing is a really gory, over the top murder because it's very restrained.
Yeah.
And that might be another reason why people don't seem to talk about this movie a lot.
I really like, though, Brad Dourif's in it, and Tommy Lee Jones is actually pretty good in it, too. He wrote his own speech that he gives in it, too. And I think the thing I really like about it is I have I have an obsession with all movies, right? That's why we're here. But with, like, the end of the 70s movies in New York, like, end of the 70s, early 80s, like, New York Ripper, Maniac, this, like, because when I was a kid and I watched WOR, it just seemed like the worst place it probably still is, but it seemed like the worst place in the world. Like there was like people dying and this movie does nothing to dispel that notion to me of like that New York is a violent, murderous place. So that's why I like it. That's what I want in my movie. I don't want that. I want to live in my safe little bucolic Monongahela, but in my movies, I want freakouts, I want drama, and I want death. And that's what I'm getting tonight.
It's how it should be.
It's how it should be. Yep. So, and yeah, I saw John mentioning the Barbra Streisand may have done an adult movie. Maybe. That was a big rumor back when I was a kid.
What, the Streisand was in a porn film?
Yeah, she was in a stag loop, supposedly. I've seen pictures of it. The girl looks kind of like her, but,
It couldn't really be her, could it?
I think the idea of it, I like the idea of it, that it's like, oh, even, but, Joan Crawford.
Yeah, I would like her a lot more if it was true.
Yeah. But, who can say? This is coming back out from, Kino is putting this back out, I think in September. on Blu-ray. Mill Creek had one out earlier this year. But this is a movie that was a little hard to find for a bit. And it's on Tubi now, so we can all watch it on Tubi. So, which is
one of our movies that we're showing tonight is coming out in just a couple of days. It's either this or Schizoid.
I think it's this, yeah. The Schizoid came out, didn't? No, I'm thinking Vinegar Syndrome put out Hospital. Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome put out Hospital Massacre, aka X-Ray, with Schizoid on Blu-ray earlier this year. We are getting firsthand knowledge of Stag Loops tonight. Very exciting.
Well, I want to know. I want to know the truth, Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Tell us when James isn't listening. What do you think their evenings are like? Like, what is a typical evening for Barbara Streisand and Brolin?
I think, I would like to think that there's a lot of robe wearing, and just like they sit and just like they have one of those like Batman on a date with Kim Basinger when like the tables they sit really far away from each other, that they sit and they talk and they have a lot of servants. And then he's like, maybe we should go out for a drive. And then she just keeps putting it off. And then finally they just end up staying home.
Yeah. It's got to be very icy and detached.
This is another movie that I first read in Mad Magazine versus seeing it. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show. Like when I was a kid, you couldn't see a lot of R-rated movies. So if it was R, I read it in Mad Magazine, and that's my first experience.
The Eyes of Lord Mess.
Yeah, The Eyes of Lord Mess is where I first experienced it. So maybe some movies that's better. Wow, we're getting a lot of celebrity skin knowledge on the side. There's a Chuck Connors movie too. So.
Ooh, I'd watch that.
Your world is dark. Oh boy!
I want to see that. I think that stag reel that's in The Howling was a bonus feature on one of the.
Oh wow!
On one of the Blu-rays, or maybe they were going to. I can't remember what the story was about that, but it was actually very disturbing. I think there was a problem when they had the film developed. Somebody thought it was real.
Another star that we had a couple weeks ago, Leon Isaac Kennedy, who was in Penitentiary 3, very famous for his adult film with his wife, Jane Kennedy, who was a NFL announcer. That's one of the first celebrity skin tapes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's scandalous.
Well, it's super scandalous because it has stuff in it that would, at the time, was illegal to show.
Laura Mars would take their picture.
She would.
She goes for that edgy stuff. Stuff on fire.
Yes, there was no fire, but there was a bunch of other stuff.
Corpses. She's real into corpses, and it's spontaneous, spur of the moment too.
You know what? I think what's hot this year? Dead people.
She's like, here, lay down. You're in the water. You're dead.
Yeah.
And then they're like pouring blood on his beautiful.
They're like dabbing it on him. I forgot that Raul Julia is in this too, and Renee Auberjonois, Odo from Star Trek.
Raul Julia, our resident red herring.
Yeah.
In a movie with so many. I guess maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I don't know. Roger Ebert claimed that he knew who the killer was within the first couple of minutes, which I think is pretty amazing because I think they changed who the killer was going to be.
He followed Roger Ebert was like, if this is a giallo, it's going to be the person that makes the least sense. And that's spoiler warning. Maybe it is. Also,
that is true.
Darlene Flugel from Battle Beyond the Stars is in this too. She's John Boy's girlfriend in that movie that he picks up on that planet. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, you know what? This is the kind of movie, much like fashion, like all fashion, the substance isn't as good as the style. And,
did you just say Auberjonois' name? And I didn't know.
Renee Auberjonois.
It's Auberjonois, I think. Auberjonois. Mm-hmm. I looked up a video because I knew we were going to be confronted with this very thing. I was like, how are we going to pronounce that guy's name?
That's what I know him as.
Oh, he is Laura Mars's manager / gay best friend in this movie.
Yeah. And straight in real life. So
yeah.
Ableist anyone? Problematic.
Auberjonois.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you
there's a
for
lot
putting
of fashion. There's
phonetic.
a lot of clothes. There's a lot of great apartments. This apartment would cost, like you said, Bill, billions of dollars today.
Yeah, let's have some real talk about what Laura Mars's actual salary would be. I mean, even if you are a fabulous fashion photographer, her apartment, she is loaded.
That book, must have got really good. You know, she must have really sold it.
There's live TV coverage of it
Yeah,
too.
I don't remember any book as a kid. Like I lived in the 70s. No
Yeah.
fashion photographer. Nobody was like, oh, this new name of fashion photographer. I don't know.
It's like in Showgirls, where there's an international collection of reporters live at Crystal Connor's debut in Goddess.
Yeah.
And everybody seems to know who she is. And she's a stripper.
I love the world of movies where things that should not be important are way too important because it's for the movie. And this movie delivers that. And that's what I'm here for. Showgirls is a great, but you know, and I also think that if you walk 2 blocks down from Laura Mars's apartment, and you take the right, the Sentinel lives there. That same, you know, she's right down the street.
And living for $400 a month.
What if she was a model? What if she was in one of Laura Mars's shoots? That's what I.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
Christina Rains.
This is the Driving Asylum Cinematic Universe, the DIACU. It's probably easier just to say Driving Asylum Cinematic Universe.
I don't think we're giving anything away, but first of all, this movie's ancient, so if you still don't know what happens at the end of
a 40-year-old movie, sorry. Everybody.
Yeah. But this movie has to do with a character who has psychic visions. And they come on her all of a sudden, and she can see acts of murder being committed as if she were the killer. And all it is a plot device. They don't really get into it. Like, why is this happening to her? Where did it come from? Can other people do this? It just is a plot point. So that's even more Giallo-esque.
Yeah, and what I love about it is like she used it for art. It's like, you know how I have OCD and it's like, well, that's why I have a website where I watch 40 movies a week. And that way I'm just not crazy screaming in the streets. She's like, you know what? I see murder all the time. Fashion. And that's really what this movie's about.
If you notice in the intro trailer, I did not actually use Let's All Chant because they would have stopped our broadcast if I had.
Oh, we should just
Let's All Chant is the jam.
We should have just done like our own a cappella version of it.
It's not too late.
That's all chant.
Clap, clap, clap.
This movie is a world that I will never get to live in and desperately want to. So, you know.
Oh, you know who else's apartment rivals this? Reagan's in Exorcist 2.
Yeah.
They're neighbors.
What does she even do?
There should be a scene in Laura Mars where you see this white nightgowned body fall past her window, like when Reagan walks off the roof.
Oh, yeah. You know, people used to always talk about on Friends, like, oh, their apartments are so big. They're nothing compared to this apartment. Like, this is like a world unto itself. It's wonderful.
I don't understand where she gets her money, unless she's okay. Let's say she's an heiress.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. She's an heiress, and photography is just sort of like her hobby, and it turned into a thing for her because she's well connected.
I have friends like this though. One of my friends who used to live in town, I'm just friends with her through Instagram now. I'm like, she's a bartender at a bar in Nashville, and like she's going to Ibiza next weekend. How's this happening? Like I don't know. And you know, like last weekend she was like in Phoenix. Like it's flying every weekend. I'm like, I work like 70 hours a week, and if I go to Detroit for 2 days, I'd figure out how to make up for it. You know, it's, you know.
She's not us.
No.
Laura Mars does not live like the normal people, the common people.
No, she doesn't do what common people do. She'll never live like common people.
And I think she has a lot in common with Faye Dunaway in that regard, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, Faye Dunaway. Oh.
I love everything she ever did, but she doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't really like anything she did.
She likes Network.
Yeah.
And we should mention this was the first movie she did right after she won the Oscar for Network. I'm pretty sure this was her next film.
Yeah. What I mean, if only I had a magic box that I could look up and see if that was true. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably true. Also, as soon as I typed in predictive text said Faye Dunaway's net worth, I'm like, yeah, well,
Oh,
they know what I'm thinking about.
it's not that much because she had to sell that fabulous house and her Oscar came with it.
Oh my god!
Did you know that?
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, she sold her how that works, but she had to go prove that she still lived there, and eventually she sold the house in California. And it came negotiable in the price. You could have her Oscar. She
I
would
love
like
that.
leave it in there.
I
You
love
could
that.
pretend you were living in Faye Dunaway's house currently.
I love that. Like she did the Champ after this, and then she did Mummy Dearest, and people were like, her next follow up better be good. And she's like, I'm going to do Supergirl, and then she did Barfly, which is pretty good.
I'm sure she didn't do Supergirl because she wanted to.
Yeah,
She just wasn't getting any work
her agent was like,
after Mommy Dearest.
Her agent's like, we got a movie for you, Supergirl. And she was like, I can't wait. A movie that has a poster, and I'm not making this up, of the Statue of Liberty lifting the wrong arm. How could this happen? But it does.
That's the Salkins.
Yeah, it's the Salkins, who also made Santa Claus the movie the most absolute all-time piece of shit of all time. I will go to my grave fighting about that movie.
Wow, that's the hill you're going to die on, Santa Claus?
There's so many other better hills for me to die on. But that's a really bad movie. Toys with Robin Williams is the worst movie of all time. That's the hill that I will die on. That's my least favorite movie of all time.
That was pretty bad. Wendy and Lisa are on the soundtrack, though.
That is what, and Tori Amos is too. And that's what got me. And if someone's like, well, Tori Amos is on the soundtrack, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go see it.
There's lots of shitty movies that have great soundtracks.
Yeah, there are.
Cool World.
Part of me likes Cool World, even though it's horrible. Because I like Ralph Bashki, but it's got a great soundtrack. The best soundtrack.
Yeah. It's definitely better than the movie.
Way better than the movie, yeah. And it's coming out finally. It's coming out on Blu-ray finally. Cool World.
How about Eyes of Laura Mars? Is the soundtrack better than the movie?
No, the soundtrack is equally as good as the movie. I'm a fan of this.
I think Native New Yorker is also in this movie too, by Odyssey.
Oh wow!
Another fabulous disco classic.
Speaking of craziness, I got it last week. I watched Steel Justice, which is a movie with what's his name from Karate, Martin Cove. It's like a Rambo kind of movie. But the lead singer of Animotion is in it, Bill. And she sings, she has a whole music video in the middle of the movie. And then the bad guys come and shoot the music video up. And it turns back into a fight scene. And I was like, oh my God, it's a girl from Animotion that sang Obsession. Holy shit.
Wow.
Great. It brings up, it added like 5 stars to my review of the movie. Like I was at 200. Now it was at 205. So pretty good.
Rene Auberjonois' character in this film looks like a realtor that I used to know.
Oh, really?
He's totally like I think Rene Auberjonois is actually playing this realtor in the movie.
My uncle, Uncle Nick looked a lot like him. Like the roles he always plays, where he's just like kind of fussy and upset. That was my Uncle Nick, and a lovely person, but always he was a librarian, so he got the right job for his OCD. But yeah.
He also reminds me a lot of David Lockery from John Waters films.
Oh man, imagine if they were in a movie together. I would love that.
Mr. Dasher. That's Rene Auberjonois in this movie.
Man, what was the movie Sam was talking about? Steel Justice. It just came out from Kino Lorber. Martin Cove in it, and boy, it's really junky but good. Martin Cove's got a pet snake that he throws at people at numerous times in the movie. And that's what I'm hearing.
Oh, I'm down with that.
Yeah, it's good. And they're like, oh, it's just a pet snake. And no, it bites somebody and he dies.
Really?
Yeah. He throws it into a tank while a guy's coming after him in a tank and just throws the snake like this and it lands in it. Also, he paints his face up in it too. And he has like full face paint on. And he's just like,
that's a very special kind of snake that can just bite you and you die.
Yeah,
like
he's trained it. It's his special snake.
That almost has to be like a black mamba, or
I
don't think there's any, or maybe a cobra.
Yeah, it's kind of like this
Are they
movie
the same thing?
feels like Cobra, but without Stallone. And if that's what you're looking for, Steel Justice, out now from Kino Lorber.
R.I.P. Clue Gallagher.
I know. First thing I saw when I woke up this morning, and I was like, God damn
I don't like to talk about it when people die.
it. Yeah. I like them
But
living
yeah.
forever in the movies that I watch.
Yeah.
You know, like I know there's a lot of Italian directors that I love that are in their mid 80s now, and every day I'm like, is today gonna be the day my heart gets broken? So let's not think about it. So I think I would be afraid to meet Martin Cove, by the way, because Martin Cove is always so mean in movies. He's the guy who fucks over Rambo. He's a helicopter
Oh,
pilot
yeah.
that fucks over Rambo. Yeah.
You don't want to mess with somebody like that.
No, he's like, he laughs at him and he's like, man, like what a jerk. And he's Kreese in Karate Kid. He trained these kids to what a job. He's like, you know what? My job is training kids to hurt other kids.
I lost my ashtray. I had to go grab one. Look at my ashtray.
Oh man.
I don't like to use this as a cigar ashtray, but
it looks like Fudgy the Whale. Speaking
There's
of that, in Detroit, there are still Carvel locations, and I did not know there were still Carvels. Becca had no idea what Carvel was, so I played the Cookie Puss commercial for her, and she said, we're not going in there. And I was like,
can't you still buy those cakes in the store?
Yeah, they still sell them at Giant Eagle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there was a freestanding Carvel when I was out there, and I wanted to go there real bad.
Willie the Whale.
I love the Carvel guy at the end. He sounded like he had throat cancer, and he would always at the end be like, thank you for coming in and buying our ice cream for the last 40 years.
So, guess what's coming up in September, Sam? 2 words for you. Christopher Lee.
Oh, Drive-In Monsterama Christopher Lee's centennial celebration.
That's right.
Yes. It's not far away. It's close.
Sort of. It's not so far away that it's detrimental to me attending. It's about an hour to drive.
No, I mean day-wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It's closer than you think.
Yeah. Here's Gene, who. So it's very close.
Just a little over a month, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that, and we have a special occasion tonight. On our 100th show, we're going to debut the trailer for the Super Drive-In Monsterama coming up in September, and well, I guess we'll just let them take it.
This September 23rd and 24th, please join us for the 16th Annual Drive-In Super Monsterama at the Riverside Drive-In located in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. The event, picked as best film event for the city of Pittsburgh in 2022. This year, the Christopher Lee Centenary Celebration featuring 8 shocking Christopher Lee classics over 2 nights. Under the Stars. Friday night begins with the Hammer classic, Curse of Frankenstein. It will haunt you forever. Up next, Peter Walker's House of Long Shadows. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and Vincent Price are all together in a house where there is a room for every nightmare and a nightmare in every room. Then, the Spanish godfather of horror, Jesus Franco, presents Dracula as you've never seen it before in Count Dracula. Our last trip of the evening takes us to the Castle of the Living Dead. Lee stars as the evil Count Drago, the master of eternal youth. But it comes with a cost. It's Saturday on Summer Isle. Are you ready for a pagan barbecue? The original and best folk horror film, The Wicker Man, kicks off our second night of Christopher Lee classics. For our second outing, we are booking a trip on the Horror Express. There are murders per the mile as Lee and passengers must solve a mystery from the dawn of time. Our third film of the night is To the Devil a Daughter. Lee stars as the sinister Father Rayner, who has his eyes set on a young Natasha Kinski to be his offering to Satan. This was the official last film Hammer Film ever made. But it's not your last film of the night. It's too late to drive home. It's foggy, and the town is full of witches. So why not book a room at the Horror Hotel? But beware, the final film of the night might prove to be deadly if you stay on Candlemas Eve. Admission to the event is $10 American per person per night. Children under 12 are free. Camping is $10 per person per night. Survivors earn a complimentary breakfast in the morning. Join us in this celebration, if you dare.
I certainly dare, and we hope you will too.
What movie do you think I'm most excited about, besides the Jess Franco one?
Okay, well, I don't know. Other
Double
than
and
the Jess
Louder. Oh
Franco
my
one.
God, I'm so excited. Bonkers excited. Man, I'm excited.
Everybody hates that movie, it seems. If you go on message boards and everyone's talking about what a shitty movie it is.
No.
Fight me.
I like when
Fight
people
them,
come to my house
not
and
me.
fight me, and then I do, and they're like, I was just kidding. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah.
Get you all psyched
A
up
whole
over
drive of
nothing.
me
That's
taping my
rude.
fists and getting excited, and then you don't want to fight. Oh, you just meant it was a phrase. Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, yeah, that voiceover is real awesome in the trailer too. That was awesome.
I know. I was really excited when I heard that. And yeah, Lance Parkin of Neon
awesome.
Brainiacs created that trailer. So fantastic job.
Oh,
Lance, you know those guys are going to be on the show again.
They're going to have a big anniversary coming up too.
That's right.
I think it's like
they
sent us an invite for they're doing a recording. They only invited like 10 people, and we got invited. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. I love those guys.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it's good.
You caught me off guard while I'm looking for
I'm excited about that. And yeah, and this is going to be, I love obviously, I love Super Monsterama. I love Vandergrift. I love Riverside Drive-In. I love it, the whole thing. So I'm super excited. Pack, if you have not been there before, I would advise pack for extreme heat and extreme cold.
Yeah, me too.
And somewhere in the middle, you will meet. Bring a blanket, bring a cooler. Yeah.
September's warm during the day, and you'll be like, haha, I don't need to dress warm.
Yep.
And then by the second movie, you're sitting in your car shivering.
Yeah. Once it hits, I'm like, oh boy. But yeah, I'm really excited. This is an awesome lineup. And I was just thinking when I was getting ready for the show, I'm like, man, it's like about a month away. Like we should, when we say every time, we should maybe film something. We say it every time. Maybe we should film something we won't. So don't look for that. But, you know.
Yeah. Don't believe us.
I will be bringing drinks, though. I got to start coming up with Christopher Lee drinks now. Which that's what we're gonna do. I don't know what a Christopher Lee drink is, but I'm gonna figure it out. I know what a Jess Franco drink is. Just put a lot of drugs in it.
Dan wants to know if they ever mix wrestling with these events.
They do not. That would be cool to do. There is Brownsville Drive-In here. It just had a show though. IWC ran a show at the Brownsville Drive-In, which is kind of cool. Which is for sale, Bill. I think Austin. Was it Austin was talking to us about it? It's like it's $1 million to buy that drive-in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
like why would anybody pay that much?
Yeah, I know that Sean, who was on the show before, Sean Collier actually was looking into it, and then when they told him the price, he was like, and that's when I stopped looking into it. Because he was like, oh, I can get grants, and if it's like a couple $100,000, we can figure that out. So. No, but we don't do wrestling at the Super Monsterama. We keep things separate. But
there's
maybe
lots of
some
fun
other
stuff
day, a Santo wrestling show would be fun.
There's always at least one or two vendors. Creepy Classics sells a bunch of movies there in the snack bar. And Time Bomb Toys has been there the last couple of times, although I'm not sure if they're going to do it again in September. So check back on that one. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes there's a special guest. Felissa Rose was there.
Yeah. And there's usually like themed food that goes with the movies too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you never know
what kind of Christopher Lee stuff.
You never know what's going to be on the menu there.
Yeah.
Halushki, pierogi pizza, a couple other culinary
Maybe this
delights.
time they'll put some garlic on the pierogi pizza. It seems like garlic-based things would be good for the vampire movies that we're about to see.
Here's the ad campaign for Eyes of Laura Mars, Sam.
Aw.
Everybody knows this by now, I'm sure, has seen this at some point in their existence. It was kind of creepy to me as a kid. I was 8 years old when this movie came out, so this definitely seemed like the kind of film that I would want to look at. But it turned out to be, it was so tame, at least the violence in it seemed so tame to me when I finally saw it that I lost interest. I came back to the fold later. This was early August 1978 when the movie came out. So here's something interesting. This promotion ran, I forget what city this was from, but a tie-in with Nikon, as seen in the Eyes of Laura Mars. Yeah, how about that? Focus on fashion contest. Darlene Flugel. The text is really small. I'm trying to read it. She was going to be there, and you could take her picture.
Oh man!
Just like Laura Mars.
You could be Laura Mars cosplay.
Yeah. Anything. Well, I don't know if the average person had the cash to dress like Laura Mars really did. There's an action shot with her camera. She definitely was out to prove that fashion photography could be a dangerous game.
Yeah.
And it's very athletic too. Look at this one.
That's a very Italian looking poster.
Mm-hmm.
I love that pose too. She's kicking it out there to get that picture.
She has to show off her legs in every movie she's in.
Oh. If I had Faye Dunaway legs, I would.
Yeah, she's no fool.
No. Go with what you got.
I like this version from Canada. This is sort of like a contact sheet layout.
Yeah.
Starts today. That makes me think of Lana Rebick. Hi, Lana. I don't think she's in chat. I was just saying hello to her in general.
She usually makes the second movie. She usually works late on. Nice man. That contest made me think about camera clubs, which are the creepiest thing in the entire world.
What do you mean?
Back in the 50s, when my camera just disconnected. Sorry.
No, you're there. I see you.
It switched to my other camera. We'll use this one for the drink. But yeah, in the 50s, I used to do a thing where that's what Betty Page would do for Irving Klaw. Like amateur photographers would pay like $50 to take pictures of models in swimsuits, and they would all just gather around taking pictures. Sounds creepy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, camera clubs. You know, that's the only way those guys could get around young nubile women, and they would take their pictures. Let me see if I can switch the camera back to camera 2. Camera 2, like I have a director. Yeah.
You have more than one camera.
Yeah. Hey, camera 2. This camera also can come off and just, see stuff and, do things. I think Mike, oh no, I dropped it. Mike Justice said that the drinks are way more professional when Becca shoots them. Oh my God, he's right. He's so right. So, anyway,
I thought you saw him in the chat when you brought up his
I saw
name.
it in the chat for last show. Whenever he said, man, this video looks so much more professional. I'm like, yeah, Becca shot it.
He's traveling abroad.
He is
this weekend, so he won't. Yeah, he won't be here.
So I'm going to do the drink here. This is the first drink is.
Yes.
We're going to make it over ice. It's a green eyes. We're going to call it the green eyes of Laura Mars. And basically, you're going to start with 3/4 of an ounce of Midori. And guess what, Bill? No Midori. in my neighborhood at all. I went to 3 or 4 different liquor stores. And
Oh, really, Sam? Well, that's very interesting because I would like to show you my brand new bottle of Midori. And if that wasn't nice enough for you,
yeah.
Here's my second bottle of Midori, unopened.
I'm going to buy 2 the next time I go, too, because I have the Kuiper right now. Du Hasenic. Anyway, you're going to start with 3/4 of an ounce of Midori. I bought a whole bunch of new stuff for this week. Becca said, don't we have enough alcohol? Don't you have acid reflux problems? And I said, it's all for the audience. That's what I said.
We're not talking about that right now.
Yeah. We're going to do an ounce of rum.
Oh, that's what I forgot. Shit.
Yeah.
Rum. I mean, I have some, but I'm almost out.
1/2 ounce of lime juice. Come on, lime juice. There we go. And we're going to do 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice. There we go. Restaurant pour. And then finally, we're going to end it all up with 1/2 ounce of Malibu.
See, that's what. Oh, look, you have like a small bottle.
Yeah, that's all we could find. That's all they had at the store.
What is going on in Pennsylvania anyway? Like some of the liquor stores have, for those of you who don't know, in Pennsylvania, you can't just buy liquor at Target or anywhere else. You have to buy it at a state store. We're one of the last states in the country where that's true, I'm pretty sure.
I'll tell you what, that was crazy going to Michigan, and it's just right there in the store, you know?
You should have loaded up.
You know what? I was like, certainly they'll have Midori when I get back home. Wrong. Anyways, let's stir this up. I think your drink's going to be greener than mine. I don't think this melon is going to get as green as Midori does.
Ta-da!
But here you go.
Pazuzu to all of you.
Pazuzu, 100 Pazuzus.
Thank you for joining us on this night of high fashion and high art, and many people who seem to be high as well. In the movie. I didn't mean us.
Yeah. Well, maybe later. Third segment. Who can say?
You never know what's going to happen by the third segment.
Oh, man, that is good. Green eyes. So.
Green eyes have seen a lot of booze, but they're never going to see another booze like they have with you.
That's my favorite part of that movie, Superbad, where they catch him at the party and are like, can you sing those eyes again like you did at the last party? And he's like, what? You know that part?
I forgot about it. It's been so long since I saw that movie.
That part's great where he's like, I never sang that song. Oh, you sang it. You sang it so beautiful. Sing it again for us.
I get confused between that and Pineapple Express and a couple other movies.
Yeah, they're very similar.
That all seem the same.
But I watch them all, right? So
they're funny, but I don't usually revisit comedies like all that often.
Yeah.
With the exception of like Tootsie. I watch that all the time. I think that's one of the best movies ever made, Tootsie.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
What's a comedy you watch all the time?
Kentucky Fried Movie, probably. I watch that a lot. And I watch Amazon Women on the Moon a lot. I like both those movies. Becca hates both of them, so I don't get to watch them that often. So that's like a once a year for me. I was so excited to introduce her to both of them. She said, this movie's stupid. And I was like, this movie's me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Isn't that the worst feeling in the world?
It was heartbreaking. But, you know, I'm like, Henry Silva's in this movie, and he says bullshit a whole bunch. And she was like, I don't care. So, I'm like,
9 to 5 is another one I watch all the time.
Oh, 9 to 5 is a good one. Yeah, that's good. I like Vacation, and I like Caddyshack a lot, too. I'm very simple. Chris just brought up A Man Called Sarge. That's going to be on the site this week. It may have been on the site this week. Canon movie. So yeah, The Burbs is good. I like all Cannonball Runs. I do end up watching those a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
No, I saw that in the theater
Sort of.
for $1 when I was a kid. They had like $1 Wednesday that we'd go, and I also saw The Incredible Shrinking Woman at the same theater, Bill. Another one of your.
I love that one. You know,
Yeah.
I love Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Yeah.
Like when she lands on the skateboard, she goes,
Oh.
"Hey."
That movie's awesome. I really like that a lot. And I saw the worst comedy ever there, Hardly Working, the Jerry Lewis comeback movie. And I remember my parents being so excited to introduce me to Jerry Lewis. Because his movies didn't play on TV in the 80s. So how else I only knew him as Jerry Lewis, the telethon guy. And they said, "Oh, just what his movies are so funny. You're going to love it." And like 15 minutes in, my dad was like, "This is horrible."
I liked Hardly Working.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's
which is to say, I didn't like it. It was always on in the 80s.
Yeah, that movie
HBO.
was like paid for by Pepsi too, so it has tons of things in it. So yeah, it's not good. Young Frankenstein I did see in the theater too as a kid. It was one of the Majestic, which was my hometown theater.
Wow.
Eventually burned down.
I'd love to see that in a theater, just because it looks so much like a Universal film.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great.
Have you seen Walmart? They have Mego figures for it, by the way, too now. Like the old cloth costume ones. They have a Young Frankenstein 2-pack that has Young Frankenstein and the monster. Speaking of Peter Boyle, I watched Joe today, and holy shit, that movie's crazy.
It's just across the street from Last House on the Left.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Wow. Yeah. I like that. The Jerk's a good answer, too. I think The Jerk's a good one. Trying to think of other comedies I like. I really, I usually stick to the same ones. I really like Caddyshack a lot. Because it's the perfect, to me, like, I like comedies that, like, you can come in and out at any time and just, like, hijinks kind of ensue, right? Like, anything can kind of happen, which is kind of cool. It's
hijinks ensue.
Hijinks, that's what I call those kind of movies where it's like very simple plot, hijinks ensue. Like family goes on vacation, hijinks ensue. But yeah, I tried getting Becca into Top Secret again when it was on the other night, and she's like, "This movie's dumb," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Like, it's supposed to be like that. It's just stupid." And I'm like, "Okay." Just wasn't into it. So she's born in '84. She wasn't ready for the ZAZ School of Airplane in those movies, So.
Oh, Airplane. That's another one I could watch a million times.
Yeah.
I guess I do watch a lot of comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like any of the Zaz ones. I think those are good. Mandy's got some good ones too. Vacation, Naked Gun, Clue, and The Burbs. Yeah. And yeah, Top Secret is you can get Top Secret now at Walmart for $3, which is crazy. You all go skeet surfing. That's what the name of the song. His big song. That's my favorite part of that movie. It's so dumb that like his big song that's sweeping America is called Skeet Surfing, and it's people surfboarding with shotguns shooting at skeet. Okay. Yeah, pretty wild. I like the Police Academy movies too. I'm very easy. Not as much as Vice Academy. And Vice Academy is up, higher than Police Academy, but pretty good. I saw Police Academy at the drive-in with Super Fuzz. What a double feature. One for the kids and one for the adults.
Here's a movie I wanted to ask you about, Sam. What do you think of Up from the Depths?
I like it. I just saw Bradley speaking about it.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. Bradley Steele Harding was talking about it on his Facebook page.
I love that he wrote it kind of like how I would write about it. It's like all the things that are bad about it, and he's like, and I've seen it 100 times. I like it a lot. I think it's good.
Good isn't really how I would describe it, but it does have a soft place,
entertaining,
a warm place in my
maybe
heart.
Entertaining's the other word, the way I think about it.
I was just so disappointed with the monster in it, with the fish.
Well, I think the other thing too is it's a Corman movie, and it feels like he did Humanoids from the Deep, which does give you everything you want in this movie, right? Maybe too much of it, one would argue, of what you're looking for in an undersea creature movie. And you're like, oh, another one? Cool. And then it doesn't deliver the same excitement. But Piranha is the second feature. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. How could you go wrong? And Up from the Depths has one of those notorious backstories where it was completely edited from its original form, which apparently had more humor in it, like Piranha.
And, I talked about Joe before. Joe's the same way. It was completely re-edited. And Peter Boyle's character wasn't as important in the original cut. And then they went back and redid it. He was so popular that they had an album that came out from the movie of just his speeches. Who would want to listen to that? But, well, never mind. I know who. But, that came out. So, yeah, pretty cool. But, I think Humanoids from the Deep is way up from the depths. And Piranha is probably definitely better than both of them. But, Corman knew what he was doing. He knew how to please those foreign salespeople, right?
I am totally on the same wavelength with you about that. It's Piranha, Humanoids, Up from the Depths.
Yeah. I would say Piranha is the best Jaws sequel. It's better than all the Jaws sequels. And it's not as good as Jaws, but it's real close.
Spielberg loved it. That's why they were able to release it, even though it's a copy of Jaws.
Yeah, but it works. It's really good. It's fun. I like.
It's really not a copy of Jaws. Like it does its own thing. Maybe that's why he wasn't annoyed by it.
I think Joe Dante is a really great director too, though. He's like a very anarchistic director, because even when he's making a movie like Small Soldiers is like a movie that they had Burger King tie-ins for. Then it's a whole movie about how bad the military-industrial complex are, how toys ruin kids. Like there's a lot of, and Gremlins 2 is one of my favorite movies because speaking of comedies, because he's like, yeah, I know it took a long time to make this sequel. Here's a movie that shits on the fact that it's a sequel for the whole time. And it shits on the original movie. It makes fun of the original movie throughout. It's really great. And also it has Paul Bartel in it, in one of my favorite Paul Bartel cameos. When he comes out and asks Hulk Hogan to please take care of the gremlins.
I forgot about that Paul Bartel had a
Mr.
cameo.
Hulk Hogan. I really love anytime Paul Bartel shows up and is just Paul Bartel in a movie and just is way too loud and screams something, and he's just in and out.
That's pretty much every time he appears in a movie. Was Paul Bartel ever anybody else?
No. I love him in Chopping Mall because they keep cutting back to them and they keep going, like making these faces. And I think about it all the time. How many people really saw Chopping Mall that saw Eating Raoul? I'm going to say not many. So I always think, why are they spending so much time with him? It's pretty great.
I don't think there was a lot of crossover. Maybe they needed to add some footage to the film to make it feature length.
I love it though. So it works for me, right?
Eyes of Laura Mars. We got to get to it.
We got to get to it. We'll be here all night we will be here all night, but we'll definitely be here all night if we don't get to it. Before we start, is this anybody's first time of seeing Laura Mars's eyes?
Yeah, we were real careful not to spoil the ending or the identity of the killer.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
We did give away a couple of murders in it, though, so I don't know, big deal. It's very Giallo-esque. The murders are usually people that you never even know. They only exist to be murdered. Our real drama is with Laura Mars herself, played by the ever-stunning Faye Dunaway, Mommy Dearest herself. Shh, don't tell Faye.
I have a complaint about Tubi before we start this movie.
Oh, please do.
Take us down, but the thing I used to really like about Tubi is that, unlike Netflix, which I hate this about Netflix, when you would go across movies, they wouldn't, like, you know how they play you like 20 seconds of the movie with sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tubi's starting to do that now, and it freaks me out every time, so I'm not ready for it. And like, I don't need to see a video clip in the movie. I just want to look through the movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get anything from this 20-second thing that you put in about the movies.
I just get annoyed by all the. It seems like there's more and more commercials, and I get it. It's free, but please give us a break. They put them in the worst possible place too.
Oh, I know. But
if at all possible.
Sometimes when I'm upset about it, I'm like, well, what if I pretend this isn't a UHF movie? And that's kind of how
I don't know.
I do it. But yeah, I don't need to see. It just happened now. I thought it just made a bunch of noise, and I feel unprofessional now, and it's the fault of Tubi. But it's okay. Thank you, Tubi, for having all these wonderful movies.
We try and stream things from YouTube. I mean, we try and send people to YouTube to stream it because they are less likely to have commercials there. Although, I don't know. I pay for the monthly YouTube, I pay for it and I don't have to watch commercials. And it's the best $13 I spend every month. My
parents got the YouTube TV and it's actually really nice. But, if you're into the streaming, speaking of streaming, before we go in, Bill, last thing I want to say, I told you before, I watched the new Predator movie today, Prey, and here's my review. It's great. I loved it. It's all the Predator action I wanted. Also, I bought the Predator game. All excited, right? You have to have internet capability, which I do, but I don't pay for PlayStation Network, so I can't play the game. So I can just look at it. It's really upsetting. All I can do is like, oh, cool. It's a neat game. I can explore what a Predator looks like. And I can play the demo. But you can't play online. So I got to pay another $17 a month to play the game online. So, hey, play me at Predator. I'll be the Predator.
We're watching tonight's first movie on Tubi, and I dropped the link into chat. So make sure you start at the end of the countdown. We'll all be in about the same place. Come back afterwards, and we'll have more to say about Eyes of Laura Mars and our second American Giallo, Schizoid, on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. Ooh, ooh, let's all chant. Let's all chant.